Mic check, mic check. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing good. Do me a favor, if you out there and you looking at this live stream, do me a favor, go into the chat and put a one if you can see me and you can hear me clearly. All right, all right. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. So look, I'm not gonna take up much of your time today. I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna talk about the things that break up um relationships, man. Why relationships break up, man. What's going on? Why we can't keep relationships together, right? So we're gonna get into it. So of course, man, we got the common reasons that we always hear about relationships breaking up, right? We get the little stuff like, you know, infidelity, of course, right? Finances, you ignore the red flags from the very beginning, things of that nature, right? Your partner changed, they switched up, they started acting different. We get the stuff like, we grew apart. We grew apart from one another. After you've been in a relationship for a while, the intimacy changes and all of that stuff, right? So we get all of these reasons for relationships coming to an end. But at the end of the day, if you look at the overall picture when it comes to relationships going bad, at the end of the day, when you put all the different reasons, because everybody can come up with a bunch of different reasons based on their relationships in the past and their breakups and things like that, they all fall into like one common area. It is basically unmet expectations, right? When you get with somebody, you have certain expectations of either that person or of what the relationship is going to be like. You expect it to be a certain way. Think of it like this. If you've been hearing about a new restaurant that opened up on the other side of town and you've seen it on commercials and everybody's talking about it and it's getting rave reviews about how good the food is, how great the atmosphere is, the music is great, and all of these things, the line is wrapped around the corner. You got to make a reservation. You got to make a reservation about 3 weeks in advance, right? So you hear about it, you want to go there. You make your reservation, you sit back, you wait in 3 weeks to, get a seat at the table. You finally get there. The music is okay. The ambiance is okay. The service is okay. The food comes and the food is okay. What happens? Now you're looking at this particular restaurant like, yo, it's not all that. Now, granted, that may have been the best meal that you've had in a very long time from a restaurant. However, because your expectations were so high based on all of the rave reviews and things of that nature, even though the food was good, it didn't just live up to the hype. It didn't live up to the 3 week wait that you had to put reservations in for in advance and wait. You know, you could have just went to the local spot and stood online and got food that was comparable, right? This is what happens in relationships. We think that when we get in a relationship with somebody, that they're at minimum, they're going to meet the expectations that at least they say they were going to do, right? You get into a relationship and somebody's telling you, listen, we going to be together forever. I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm going to be faithful and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. At the end of the day, you at least expect them to do what they say they are going to do, right? And what happens is the issue is when they don't at least do what they say they're going to do, your expectations haven't been met. And that's where the issue comes in with a lot of stuff. It's the expectation that you have of this particular person. Okay. Um, and that's really what, the breakups come down to, the unmet expectations. You expecting one thing and you're getting something else. So how do you fix that in relationships? How do you take care of that? Right now, a lot of y'all are going to disagree with me, but let me explain. At the end of the day, you have to lower the expectations that you have of your partner. Now, I'm not saying that you lower your standards. I'm not saying that you give up your boundaries or any of that. What I'm saying is you have to understand that the person that you are with is not a superhero. The person that you are with is not perfect. They're human. They're going to fail. They're going to mess up. A lot of us get into these relationships thinking that the partner that you have is the best ever. We're expecting perfection. And then when you don't get that perfection that you expected, now you're disappointed. At the end of the day, all disappointments revolve around unmet expectations. What do you do to fix that? First and foremost, when you go into a relationship, you yourself must be 100% whole. A lot of times, we, as well as our partners, are getting into relationships expecting the other person to complete them. I know you hear that all the time. Oh, I love him so much, he just completes me. And you hear stuff like, oh, that's my better half, and all of this kind of stuff, right? When you're saying that someone else is your better half, what half are you? What half are you? If they are your better half, what half are you? A lot of us are going into relationships and we're not whole individuals. Do not go into a relationship if you are not whole. If you cannot complete yourself, you should not get into a relationship. And you have to pay very close attention to your partner, because a lot of people out here, they're not whole themselves. They're getting into a relationship with you because they're expecting you to complete them. Do you know how much the work that is? Not only do you have to maintain you and hold you down, and I'm not just talking about like financial. I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, all of those things. They're not whole, and they're getting into the relationship expecting you to complete them. Do you know how draining that is? Do you know how draining that can be? Guys, listen, you got to be careful, man. People out here are getting into relationships, man, expecting you to complete them, expecting you to you know, make sure that you make up for what it is that they lack. And that is draining. That will drain your energy. It will. When you get into a relationship, make sure that you are as whole as you can possibly be. And when you are as whole as you can possibly be, when you get into a relationship, you're not looking for anybody else to complete you. And so your expectations of that person don't have to be so high, because you can complete whatever it is that you need to complete for yourself. That's where the relationship goes bad, where people are looking for their partner to complete them. And it's just draining. It will drain you. I promise you, it will drain you. Get into a relationship when you're whole. When you're a whole person, you can come in. You're not worried about, listen, you ever been out there grinding, doing your thing, and you got a partner that's calling you all the time? Where you at? What are you doing? Like, they don't have a life. You become their life. See, they expect you. They have these high expectations of you to maintain them, and it's draining. And you don't want to be that person that is expecting somebody else to complete you. That's not what we want to do. It is not good, guys. I'm telling you right now. You got to go into relationships complete. Don't be looking for anybody else to complete you. You go in when you are 100% complete, and you make sure that the person that's getting in a relationship with you is 100% complete. When it comes to most things, it's not even the violation. You understand what I'm saying? It's the fact that your partner let you down. It's the fact that they let you down. They told you that they were going to do something and they didn't do it. That hurts more than whatever it is that they did. You understand what I'm saying? It hurts more whatever it is that they did, because you had an expectation that they would at least not do that. And it's draining. It's draining. That's what, when you break down all of the issues in relationships, communication, breakdown in communication, no loyalty, disrespect, arguments all the time and stuff like that. Listen, if you go into a relationship and you have no expectations of your partner. No expectations at all. That relationship will probably last for a very, very long time because in no way, shape, or form can that person ever let you down. You understand what I'm saying? Look, I'm going to get into it, man. I had this conversation with somebody and I'm going to bring it up right now. I said that relationships themselves are selfish in nature. They are selfish in nature. People who are in relationships at the end of the day have some type of selfishness about them. Think of it like this. When you first start dating somebody, they're cool, you kicking it, laughing, joking, having a good time, you're going out on the weekends and stuff like that. No big deal. You ask them, hey, you seeing anybody? No, I'm not seeing anybody. I don't have a boyfriend or, I don't have a girlfriend or whatever like that. I'm just kicking it. I just date. Okay, cool. No pressure, no problems. As time goes on, you start, getting attached to this person. You like them, you vibing with them and all of that, right? Dating them for, I don't know, a couple weeks. One thing leads to another. It's time for, that late night action. Getting to that little late night action. Now you're really feeling them. You understand what I'm saying? You done did that thing. You got some apple pie. You feeling good. So now what happens? As the feelings begin to grow for this person, the selfishness comes out where you say, hey, basically, I want you for myself. Let's get into a relationship. Usually, when you get into a relationship, there are going to be rules and regulations that go along with it. Again, based on your selfishness. The first thing you're going to say, I want you to be mine. Therefore, you can't see anybody else. That's usually the first thing that goes along with a committed relationship. You can't see anybody else. That's, in a sense, that's selfish. You're no longer free. I'm putting all of these restrictions on you from the gate. So now anything and everything that you need, you have to get it from me. You can't go anywhere else. You can only get it from me, right? So that's the selfishness that comes along within a relationship. Time goes on. Time goes on. Now you're dating for some time and you decide, hey, let's get married, right? You go ahead and you get married, right? That's the ultimate restriction right there. Because with marriage, it's going to be a whole bunch. You can't do this. You can't do that. You got a curfew. You got to come home by a certain time. I want this. I need this. You got to do that. Like a whole bunch of stuff goes along with it, right? Now, remember, in the early stages, when you were dating, you ain't had no restrictions. They were free to go where they wanted to go. You were free to go wherever you wanted to go and do whatever you wanted to do. When you call them, the only expectation that there was that you had on that person was that they showed up to the date on time. That was it. That's the easiest time. As soon as you start getting and progressing the relationship, more and more restrictions come. The expectations now get higher. You expect them to meet all of the requirements that you have. You see where I'm going with this, right? As time goes on, it's more and more expectations. You're expecting them to do this. You're expecting them to do that. And vice versa. They're expecting things from you too. So now, the day comes, you find out that your partner did something that was against the rules. They broke a rule. They went against the regulations. They violated. They betrayed you, whatever it is. A lot of times when you think about it, it's not necessarily about what they did. It's more so about the fact that you expected them to do better. It's the expectation that you had on your partner that is now going to cause y'all to have to break up because they didn't meet the expectation. However, if you would have just stayed in the early stages, even though, y'all was feeling each other and all of that, just stayed separate where you were free to do what you wanted to do. They were free to do what you wanted to do. There were no restrictions, really no expectations other than showing up somewhere on time, no commitment, no locking nobody down. Then there could be no unmet expectations because there are no expectations. Everybody's free to come and go as they please. But again, the selfishness of relationships come in. You want to lock them down. They want to lock you down. Now you got all of these restrictions. Now everybody is expected to play their respective role. And then when somebody steps outside of the role that they are supposed to be playing, that's when the expectation has now not been met, and it's an issue. At the end of the day, whatever expectation it is, whether it's proper communication, whether it's being faithful, being loyal, taking care of finances, whatever it is, they all fall into the same category of an unmet expectation. And at the end of the day, the root of all disappointments are unmet expectations. When you have no expectations, everything goes so much smoother because there are no disappointments. If you driving down the road and you see a little eatery, you see a food spot over there, you never heard of it, you don't know anything about it, you're hungry, you run inside, you sit down and eat the food, you're probably not going to have much of a problem with the food, whether the food was good or the food was bad, because you had no expectation of what that food was going to be. However, when you hear about a big restaurant, you go there, you look at the prices, you know what I'm saying? For a slice of whatever or a piece of this, the prices are astronomical. You're going to expect that food to taste a certain way. When the food does not taste like that, now your expectations have not been met. You are now disappointed, and it's a problem. At the end of the day, when it comes to any and all disappointments, it's because of unmet expectations, guys. So what I'm saying to you is this. I'm not saying lower your standards. I'm not saying get rid of any boundaries and anything like that. However, you when you lower your expectations, when you lower your expectations of people and of things, you're going to lower the amount of disappointment that you have in your life. Stop expecting people to treat you the way that you would treat them. It doesn't always work like that. You have to be okay with how you treat yourself, and that's it. Don't get all upset when somebody treats you some type of way. You expecting them to treat, oh, I expected them to do this, or I expected them. Stop expecting anything out of anybody. Expect that you're going to respond properly for the situation. Expect that you're not going to allow anybody to disrespect you, violate you, betray you, or any type of behavior that you don't allow. All you got to do is expect that you're going to do the right thing when they do the wrong thing. And that's it. You're going to be good. I'm telling you, it's the people that expect people to treat them a certain way. They're always hurting. What's wrong with you? Oh, they did this. What's wrong with you? Oh, they did that. Man, stop expecting people to treat you a certain way. Expect that you're going to treat yourself the way that you need to be treated, and expect that you are not going to let people treat you how you do not want to be treated. People are going to treat you how you allow them to treat you. As long as you don't allow them to treat you no type of way, then you good. Expect that you're going to do the right thing for you, and that's that. Look, y'all, I just wanted to jump on here real quick and say that. With that being said, I appreciate everybody jumping on, checking out this live stream, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good.